Hey, this is Jeremy from Maryland Guitar Academy, and I'm here today with a Tuesday tip. So we're going to talk about the concept of three-string chords. And if you stick around to the end of the video, I will show you a simple little device that I've used to a lot of success with a lot of my beginning students. So on the guitar we have 6 strings, E, A, D, G, B, E. And ideally, you want to be able to use all 6 of those strings when you're playing. But when players are starting out, especially younger players, it can be difficult to reach your fingers across the fretboard to incorporate all 6 strings at one time. So rather than trying to stretch out and overextend and force yourself, what I like to do with my beginning students is to start off playing 3-string chords. So in this example, all of the chords are going to be played on the G, B, and high E strings. Now what this does, it gives you a smaller number of strings to work with, and what that often means is that you can go from playing a chord like this would be a G chord, to you have 1, 2, 3 fingers here. In the 3-string version, it's only one. That is my ring finger on the 3rd fret of the high E string. And that's what that sounds like. So this is the G. Another common chord that you'll find in guitar music is the C chord. Now the full chord looks like this, but in our simplified 3-string chord version, you only play with your index finger on the 1st fret of the B string. So when you play, it sounds like this. So another really common chord in guitar music is going to be the D chord. Now this one is a little bit different than the other two, where G and C only used one finger at a time. The D chord is going to use 3 fingers, and they're all going to be in a pretty compact space on the fretboard. So to play this one, you'll take your index finger and put it on the 2nd fret of the G string. Your middle finger will go on the 2nd fret of the high E string, and then your ring finger will go on the 3rd fret of the B string. And it sounds like this. And then our last chord that we're going to talk about today is the E minor chord. Now the full chord sounds like this. But in our simplified version, it is as simple as they come. You're going to play the G, the B, and the high E string, but you don't have to put your fingers down anywhere on the fretboard. All 3 of those notes are going to be open. And now, putting all 4 of these chords together, we have one of the most common standard chord progressions in guitar music, and that is G, D, E minor, and C. When you learn these 4 chords, it opens up a whole lot of different songs that you can play. I would say there are hundreds of songs that you probably know that use those 4 chords and just those 4 chords. The full chords will sound like this. And now the 3-string chords are going to sound like this. And there we go. Now, one thing about the 3-string chords is that when you are strumming with your strumming hand, sometimes you only want to play those 3, but you bump into some of these others. And now, depending on the chord, that might be okay. It might sound okay. Uh, but for like the C chord, there's our 3-string chord. But if you play the extra notes, it doesn't sound so great. So you do want to focus on building up your strumming and only hit those 3 notes. But that can be a little tricky at first. So what I like to do is use this simple little device, and I've used this with a number of students. This is it's about an inch by inch piece of Velcro, and you can get this at any craft store. There are a lot of places you can find this. You can buy it online. And what you can do is you have 2 sides of the Velcro, and it doesn't really matter which side goes on which side, but we have these 3 strings that we don't want to play. And so we put the Velcro, and I like to go to where the points are along the metal fret bar. And I just attach it like that. You probably need to push down to get it to grab. And what this does is this dampens the sound from those 3 strings. It doesn't mute it altogether, but it does make it softer. So when you're playing you might hear a little bit of those kind of clunky notes coming from down here, but they're not as prominent as if you didn't have the piece of Velcro here. And one thing to note, I like to put this in an out-of-the-way place on the fretboard. So if we're playing down here in the first 3 frets or so, I just want to give it a little bit of space so that I don't risk bumping my fingers into it. So I have it here on the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7th fret. And that gives me plenty of space that even if I needed to come down a couple extra frets, I'm not going to risk bumping in with my fingers. But you can put this anywhere you want. There it is on the 12th fret, and it accomplishes pretty much the same thing. We'll just put it back here at the 7th. So one more time through our chord progression. Here's G, D, E minor, C, then we'll end on G. And there you have it. Thanks for tuning in, and we'll see you next time.